Alrighty, okay. I think why don't we get started? So, hey everyone, welcome class of 2024. We're so glad you guys could be here with us this afternoon. So, welcome to the Office of Student Engagement's virtual student activities fair. We're really excited to be with you all. And so, while it's no longer possible for us to welcome you on campus, we wanted to provide you with some essence of campus life. And so, just a little about us: the Office of Student Engagement, we're a hub for student involvement on campus, where we support around 600 student organizations in a wide variety of categories. And so this afternoon, we're focusing on the religious category. And so you can still attend some of the other sessions, and you can sign up at admit.stanford.edu. And so my name is Preston Wong. I'm a peer advisor in the Office of Student Engagement, and today I'll be hosting this session. And so the format for today's sessions will be two parts. So first, we'll have a panel of students who are religious group leaders, and we'll talk in general about these types of groups. And we'll have some preset questions as well. And we'll also have some open Q&A. Then after that, around 4:25, we'll have breakout sessions where you can meet the individual organizations that you are interested in. And this will be sent out in a Google Doc, in a link to a Google Doc, where you can see all the different organization names along with their respective Zoom links so you can meet their members. And so we hope that you can really check out these clubs, explore, and really find what interests you. All right, so now why don't we introduce our wonderful panelists? And so we have this wonderful group of students today, and I'll just go through and introduce each one. And when I see your name, maybe you guys can wave so they can see who you guys are. And so we'll start off with Jonathan Borja. He's with the International Student Christian Outreach, ISCO. We also have Hassan. He's with the Muslim Student Union at Stanford. We also have Sophie, who's with the Undergrad Catholic Student Association. We have Tara, who's with the Hindu Student Association. And we also have Julian, who's with the Buddhist community at Stanford. And lastly, we have Kiona, who's with the Baha'i Student Association. So wonderful. Thank you, panelists, for being with us this afternoon. And so why don't we start off with this first question. And so this first question that we have is, what are some of the fun religious student organization events on campus?
Great, so I can take that one. As Preston said, I'm Sophie. I'm the president of the Catholic Student Association, so I'm basically like the Pope of Stanford. So fun religious organization events. I think all our events are fun, so I'll just talk about what events we have. So basically, the events you're going to see are going to fall into like religious events, so that's going to be like worship services or different types of things like that. And so the groups do a good job of making sure that you can continue your religious traditions once you come to Stanford. So don't worry about being able to go to church or things like that. And then there are a lot of different fellowship events. So just dinners, like weekly dinners, maybe more social events, things like that. So there's a lot of that going on. So if you join a group, you'll have a chance to get to know people and hang out. There are also some more like intellectually flavored events for religious events. So like a group may bring in a speaker, so you can learn more about, maybe a topic that's important to that group and things like that. And then there are also service events. So if you think that's fun, if you like to serve the community with your religious group, then there are definitely opportunities to do that. I think maybe Hassan had some.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm Hassan. I'm the president of the Muslim Student Association here, Muslim Student Union. We also, like very similar to the Catholic community, have events that are like spiritual, and we have like more events that are geared towards like community and socializing. Some of our like most fun events, one of them is Golden Gate Fajr, where we go to Golden Gate Bridge, pray Fajr like in the morning before sunrise, and watch the sunrise like over the bay, and go get IHOP after. And this year we got like a huge party bus with like 60 people in it, plus like a few cars, so it was a lot of fun. Another really fun time on campus is Ramadan, so it's actually starting right now, starting tomorrow. Normally we all get together to have iftar every day. We break our fast in the evening, and usually it's like 100 people, and it's like around that time of the year where you really get to know like all the other like Muslim students on campus. It's like a really nice time. And throughout the year, we have a lot of regular like spiritual events, like Friday prayers every Friday, and like we like have like weekly like hangouts and like weekly discussion circles. But and also sometimes we have like every year we have like a couple like really nice events in the beginning and the end of the year. So we have like a welcome banquet, and in the spring we have the Maca Awards, which is an event where we present an award to a Muslim American who has benefited the Muslim American community a lot. And it's like kind of thing where like you get to dress up and like go to a nice banquet with MSU. Yeah, so there's like a whole range of different events, and most religious student organizations here on campus do that they have a lot of like stuff supporting the spiritual aspect. They have a lot of events for like community and socializing with other people of your faith, and also a lot of interfaith with other student groups. Even the Jewish student organization, they're really good at interfaith stuff this year. They've been doing a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun at Stanford.
Yeah, that's right. It is a lot of fun at Stanford. Well, thank you both for answering that question. Why don't we go on to the second one? The second one is, what do student organizations do to enhance religious life on campus?
Yeah, I can start. So I think when I first read this question, I was reminded of a going around the circle thing that we had where all the representatives from religious groups were there. And this was at Dean Steinwart's house. And we were all asked what is the most valuable thing to us from our communities and our groups. And I think most of the people in our group said a sense of community. So I think the biggest thing that the biggest way that these student organizations help you deepen your religious life, spiritual life, and also just enjoy your student life at Stanford really is through a sense of community. Like the others said earlier, there are all of these events that happen on a regular basis. And I think especially when you're coming into this whole new world of undergrad life, it's very special and comforting, and also a great opportunity for learning when you have people who share your values. You're able to celebrate festivals together, like important occasions that you've grown up with, you get to share that with people. So I think it really happens through this coming together and community. And I think the other thing I'd say is a lot of groups, to my knowledge, tend to get in good mentors and teachers who are like very far along in their own religious and spiritual journeys. So I can say for the Hindu Students Association, we have a very close connection with some, spiritual and philosophical sort of organizations, and we invite teachers. We do classes every week. I know the Zen Society has a teacher come in, so that's another way I think that you're able to deepen your religious and spiritual journey. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess the things that I had wanted to add are just about the spaces that are available to us as religious groups on campus. There is a lot of dedicated space for communities like ours to meet with each other, to meet between groups. Stanford does a really, really great job of giving us kind of a home, both for our own communities and for encouraging relationships between communities. So the two examples that come to mind right off the top of my head are the Circle, which is a dedicated interfaith space. There's a really beautiful room in the old Union building at Stanford, which is right kind of in the center of student life on campus. And that's just like, it's a gorgeous room. It is decked out with all of the kind of accoutrement that our different communities require to hold services or to just have open kind of community space to hold whatever kinds of activities. The other kind of major one that comes to mind right off the top of my head is the Memorial Church, which truly is like the center of campus. And again, it's a gorgeous place. You probably have seen images of it. They're fantastic at facilitating religious life and community of all varieties. And it's just like a tremendous privilege to be able to hold our activities there. And it really gives a sense of fullness and home to all of the activities that we run. The other thing that I had wanted to mention is actually not about campus at all, but the fact that most of our communities have relationships with other communities in the Bay Area. So I think for a lot of us, that means opportunities to explore. You know, Stanford itself is kind of tucked away in its own little world, and sometimes it can feel really good to step outside. And I know that a lot of our communities, as Hassan was mentioning, facilitate that and kind of step us out into different contexts in the Bay Area and beyond.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Julian. All right, why don't we go to our third question? And the third question is, how does the interfaith community collaborate at Stanford?
I can start. So the interfaith community at Stanford collaborates to connect students to the interfaith community at panels like this one. We have similar panels at NSO, New Student Orientation, where we converse and really get to know students and connect them with opportunities. And one event that really sticks out for me in which the interfaith community collaborated here at Stanford was the Interfaith Harmony Week last April. And it's a tradition at Stanford that they hold at Memorial Church, which Julian was talking about. And it's an interfaith celebration showcasing a diverse slice of all our student organizations, the religious life here, and it's really vibrant, so that I think really epitomizes how we all collaborate to enhance religious life at Stanford together.
Yeah, those kinds of opportunities are really great when we like all come together. And in addition to the just coming together for Interfaith Harmony Week, there are also little like interfaith service days that we'd actually been planning this year for this April, but wasn't able to happen due to, of course, us all being remote. And there's just so many opportunities to learn from each other. Recently, the Muslim Student Union and the Jewish Students Association actually hosted people from other faiths to come and see what the Friday Jumu'ah prayer is like and what the Shabbat services are like. And I believe one of the Christian groups, Chi Alpha, also invited folks over to come and see one of their regular worship services. So, and in general, just all of the religious groups are pretty open and inviting people into their regular meetings if people want to go and learn what it's like. So there's just incredible opportunities to learn from each other and just get a richer understanding of the people around you. And then I've also just interacted with sort of interfaith community on another level. If you go to the Office of Religious Life's website, you'll see that there are a lot of different Christian groups. And one thing that I've really enjoyed is just getting to see how much they interact, both on that level and then across like broader faith types. There are just really cool friendships that can form through people from all the different religious groups. So on both formal and informal levels, there are lots of opportunities to connect.
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you, Kiona. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, I think it's true. There are many different ways we can connect among the different religious organizations. I really hope actually at Stanford that each one, as you guys, each one of the incoming class, you guys will be able to find a community where you can continue to pursue your beliefs. I think that's very important. And so anyhow, thank you all our panelists for answering those questions. So at this time, we're going to do two things. We're going to open up the Q&A. And so this will allow you to type in questions and we'll try our best to answer them in the remaining time. And then in addition, we'll also send out a link so that way you can begin to look at the different individual organizations so that you can figure out which ones you want to check out. All right. All righty. So yeah, so now we can take any questions that you guys might have. Okay, why don't we start off with this one? All right, so the first question that came in says for Christians groups, have you held any mission trips abroad?
Go ahead.
I could say we're going to hold a trip where we're going to go do service at the border in Mexico, but it was canceled. I don't know, Jonathan, maybe you know more.
Yeah. So I'm here representing ISCO, the International Christian Student organization. And we do not do mission groups, or mission trips, but another group that I've had a lot of contact with is Chi Alpha. And I know that they have connections with communities in South Korea, where there's an opportunity to do a missions trip in the late summer abroad. And then they also, over spring break, typically have some sort of missions trip. There's a community in Arizona in the Apache Indian Reservation where they have connections with a church there where they go and partner with people to run a camp for kids for a week.
That's awesome. Okay, why don't we go on to this next question? The next question is, if you do not identify with any particular religion, what are the ways you can get involved and learn more through the diversity present on campus?
I could say something about that. I mean, I think to begin with, most of our groups are really happy to welcome anybody into our activities. Obviously, each group, has a range of kinds of events that they hold, but for the most part, my sense has been that we're all really happy to welcome people, not necessarily confirmed members of any particular religious community. At least that's really been my experience so far. Is each group has a really kind of welcoming atmosphere. The other thing is that I'll just say I'm a graduate student in the Department of Religious Studies at Stanford, so that also is a really phenomenal resource for not just events about education into different religious traditions and communities through courses and through kind of special guest speakers, but they also they often bring distinguished practitioners, etc. So they're really kind of a variety of ways to educate yourself as you see fit, and also to participate with with whichever religious community interests you.
I just wanted to say, whoever asked that, thank you for that question. I think it's so, college really is the time to explore yourself and explore all these different opportunities. And I think especially universities that have this coexistence of so many groups, it's just a very cool thing to do if you're interested in it. So I would just say, from my perspective, a lot of groups, like he said, you can just go into meetings, to classes, study groups, have discussions, just engage with people and find your home wherever it is. So thank you for the question.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can answer this question. The question is there a designated place to pray on campus?
I think that would have been a question Q&A for me. So there are designated prayer areas on campus in the 3rd floor of Old Union. So yeah, for the Muslim students, we have our own prayer room. There's the wudu area. There's also prayer rooms for several others, religious organizations on groups in the same place.
Okay, maybe we can go on to this next question. The question is, what do worship services held at the Memorial Church look like?
So speaking for the Catholic student group, we have masses at Memorial Church 2 every week. And we also have, every day during the week, also during the weekdays. So there are Catholic masses. There's also university public worship on Sunday mornings, which is kind of like an ecumenical service. And then I think other groups don't use it as often, but maybe like once a quarter they'll have a big event there. And so there are other events that maybe don't happen as regularly, but other groups can use it if they want.
Thank you. Actually, maybe we could also extend that question. I think maybe could some others also speak about like the worship services in general, like on campus, for any of the other groups.
I can share.
Cara, did you want to go?
Yeah, I can share a little bit. I just wanted to share that in the circle, each group, what's so beautiful is each group actually has a room that is dedicated to praying or, doing those kinds of things. And then we also have common rooms where, people are able to mingle. So I will say for the Hindu Students Association, we often have, brief short prayers in that room. We do just like devotional singing, which people hear if they're around that area. And we also book rooms in other places and do study sessions. So we go into like Vedanta philosophy, ancient Indian philosophy. And I will say that especially during certain parts of the year, so Diwali and Navratri is a 10-day festival for Hindus, which is a festival of the goddess. So we meet every evening and just sing and yeah, so.
Maybe I can also just follow that up and say for the Buddhist community at Stanford and another Buddhist group that's not represented today, that's the Zen Society, we use those spaces for meditation on a regular basis. So three times a week, obviously not under current circumstances, but in real regular life, we use it as space for quiet contemplation and according to a number of different Buddhist traditions. So what it looks like from time to time is totally down to change, but it's a wonderful space for doing that, whatever it is. In our case, quiet contemplation.
That's great. I guess anyone else would like to add anything else?
I can add something just as far as evangelical Christian groups. Many of them have a like sort of weekly worship service where it's largely modeled after a church service from their traditions. And so there's singing, there is a sermon, and then there's time to just talk with each other. And then in addition to that, throughout the week, many groups have used spaces like the circle or lecture halls or just classrooms, meeting spaces to meet together in smaller groups, to meet together and pray, or study the Bible, or any number of things.
Yeah, it's true. Alrighty, and okay, so, oh, sorry, Kiona, why don't you go? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. I was just also going to add that the Baha'i Student Association at Stanford has weekly devotionals that are musical devotionals, and they feature interfaith quotations and prayers as well. So if you're interested in interfaith devotionals, we also have those every week at Old Union.
Wonderful, thank you.
Can I
well,
share a quick addition?
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
I mentioned the rooms. I just wanted to share that members of the groups, they're like free access at any point. I know that our group, there's a code, once you have that code, you're welcome to enter and sing, meditate, pray. It's like really a space for members of the group. So I think it's very special that Stanford gives that space to us. And yeah, I think we make good use of it. So.
Thank you, Tara. All right, well, looking at the time, we are it's 4:26. So anyhow, so this wraps us at the end of our panel session. So really, thank you all for coming to this time. Also, I want to take the time to really thank our panelists for coming to this time. So thank you guys. And so right now, we just like to allow you guys to go on to check out the different groups. So feel free to go to that bit.ly and go to the different Zoom links for the different religious groups. or if you want to, you can also stay here and continue to chat with us and ask us questions. So that wraps up our panel, our official panel session. So thank you all.
Oh, somebody said thank you. That's really nice. Thank you for spending your time to come and listen.
Thank you, Christopher. Really appreciate it. Let's see.
Maybe Hassan, do you see the question about the Muslim groups?
Yeah, so for the Muslim students in general, we don't like go to the masjid as a group. We have all the like religious activities here on campus, like even Eid prayers. And there's like a significant amount of Muslims that makes it really nice. Like every now and then some group of friends, like they'd go together to like a specific masjid if they want to like go there for. In general, we do like provide all of that here on campus.
Nice. Thank you, Hassan.
And then just as for Kelly's question about if there are different groups throughout the week held at times that allow students to be flexible, yes. So there's a ton of different religious groups, as you just saw, and then even among just the Christian evangelical groups that I'm most familiar with, they tend to meet on different nights, lots on Wednesday, some at Tuesday, and really there's something every day of the week. If you wanted to go to them all, you shouldn't go to them all. That's too much. You have to be a student too. But yeah, always there's lots of flexibility on this campus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's actually a lot. I think just personally, I could also say that there's a lot of different events, a lot of different meetings on campus. And so, yeah, like for example, I go to a Bible study on Tuesday and also a Bible study on Thursday. And there's like also a lot on like Saturday night or Sunday morning. So there's plenty of different events at times. Alrighty.
Okay.
So I think we're going to wrap up actually. And so
we'll head on over to the ISCO thing, I guess.
Sounds good. Alrighty.
Cool.
Well, thank you everyone for who stuck around, and yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful time.